glorious Nippon paperweight. Okay, it's not. Okay, I'm finally back to the forge. It's been ages, so I'm like, the hell with it. I'm making myself a samurai sword.
Nice.
So, for the outer material, the hardenable steel, the Kawagane, I've got a pair of ferrous rods and a saw blade. For the Shigane, the unhardenable inner core, I've got some old mild steel. So I'm just throwing together, gonna make some scrap metal Damascus. So, gonna just have a bit of fun today. Now I know some people out there are going to get all bent out of shape that I'm not using traditional tamahagane and I'm using scrap metal to make a katana. Go, oh, that's not a katana, it's not made with that. But I have seen master Japanese swordsmiths use recycled scrap metal. I've seen them use cast iron teapots and nails. So, and you know, where am I going to get mahogany from around here? I mean, yeah, I know Paul's got some, but he's not going to lend it to me just to mess around with. He's saving that for himself. So I'm just going to, you know, use some recycled material, and it should be fun. And yeah, I got a pair of ferrous rods and a saw. That's going to be my Kawagane, my outer layer. I'm going to, you know, fold these together with some saw blade in between to hopefully get a bit of contrast. And for my core material, I've got mild steel. And, you know, hopefully you already know the process of making a Japanese sword. Alright, let's have some fun. with borax, go for a few more heats. They might need a bit more, down this end might need a bit more work, but that's the basic process. Fill it with borax, get up to the point where it starts to shoot, only just start to sparkle a little, and then yeah, we'll tap it down. I'll do that a few more times to try and make sure it welds and all sticks together, and then just try and make sure it's welded properly before I try to draw it out. And if it's not welded properly, it'll start to break apart when I try to move it around a bit more. But I'll do that a few more times. After I had folded up and made one ferrous rasp, kind of zigzag, I put bits of saw in it to make 7 layers and forge welded it. This half seems to have forge welded nicely. This half, not so much. Well, I've ground the side so I can see, yes, it has forge welded quite well on that half. I'll put it in some vinegar and etch it to try and see if those little bits of saw blade are even worth bothering with. You can get a pattern by folding the same piece of steel in on itself, but if you've got 2 different grades of steel that etch at different rates, it can give more contrast, but because they're so thin, it might just basically draw out to nothing in the end of the product, so I might not bother with them in the future. Not the most glorious of endings. I got myself a paperweight. Glorious Nippon paperweight. Okay, it's not. Alright, so I figured I should probably explain the process I'm going through. What I'm doing is I've divided up the length of these various rasps, and they're 14 inches long, plus a little bit for the end that's a bit curved. So I'm going to put chisel a groove in every 3.5 inches. So there's a groove on this side here, so it will bend that way. So leaving enough material to help it stay in position. Don't want to cut all the way through, otherwise then I'd have to hold it together with wire or something. But I etched up the billet. I etched up the billet of steel I made last night. It's not really a whole lot of contrast created by those saw blades in between, so I think I might just skip it. And even if there was, because they're about 1 millimeter thin, because they're about 1 millimeter thick, after I fold that 4 times, they'd be down to 1/4 millimeter. And then when I stretch it from that long out to the length of the sword, yeah, I don't think there'd be enough material. It'd just basically stretch out to nothing. So I think I'll skip the saw blades for my next billet and just use this various rasp. I'm not derusting it because the fire will take away the rust, and I'm not grinding off the teeth because I've seen people use various rasps and files and stuff and leave the teeth on to give them more grip when they're forge welding. So I'm just going to fold this into a W after I've chiseled these grooves in. I'm going to fold it into a W, fill the inside with borax, which I did do on the last one because I put the saw blades in. But I'll close it down onto some borax and then start heating it up to get it up to a forge welding temperature. And yeah, we'll see where we go from there. And then I'll have to figure out some way of combining the 2 billets and folding them together. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Just a blacksmithing tip for this: you can use a chalk line to, you can chalk where you're going to be, but it's a bit hard on various valves because it's such a twisted surface. And you could put a little nick in it, but again, it's such a fractional piece, so it's a bit hard to see what you're doing with it. So to make it easier, I mark out a 3 and a 1/2 inch section of my sacrificial plate. You know, the plate of softer material you put onto your anvils when you're chiseling and stuff, so that if you go through, you're not going to damage your anvil. I mark 2 lines on it in chalk that are the length apart I need them, 3.5 inches, and so I line up one score mark or the end with one line, and I know that I chisel at the second one, and that gives me the distance between them. Just a way of making that a bit easier.